All right. Hello, my kindergarten friends. I miss you guys all so much. I miss doing science with you. And I'm really excited that we are doing these video lessons now because we can do science together again. Okay. What is going to happen in this video? Sometimes you're going to see Miss Millerick. Sometimes you're going to see the screen, the computer screen, because, drum roll, we are doing a mystery science activity together. Okay, if you look behind me and you look at some of the materials, you might even get a little hint of what we're going to learn about. You guys ready? Here we go. So there's our mystery science question. How do plants and trees grow? Are you ready? Let's click play.
Hi, it's Doug. If you're like I used to be, I never paid much attention to plants. I mean, they just sit there. They're so still. It's so easy to forget about them. But there are some really interesting plants. Many of them you can even buy and have in your home or your yard. Like maybe you've seen these. They're cactuses. There's some really cool cactuses out there. There are also some really colorful plants, like these. This kind is called a bromeliad. They're from the jungle. They do really well inside of people's houses. Now, where I live, I have one that's reddish-orange like this, growing in my house. Here's the bromeliad's cousin. Now, this is maybe my top favorite plant that I own. Do you recognize it? That's a pineapple right there. This is a pineapple plant. It's where pineapples come from. I found this at a plant store for $10. I couldn't believe it. Oh, but actually, let me show you one of my other favorite plants I have. It's this little tree. Trees are plants too. They're just a special kind of plant, a plant that has wood and grows tall. Now, speaking of tall, this one, it's just a baby tree, but it's not just any tree. It's a baby redwood tree from California. When redwood trees grow up, they're the tallest trees in the world. I just love having a little baby one, knowing that one day it's going to get so tall. I'll have to plant it in a forest once it gets bigger so that it has room to grow. You can find interesting plants all around you. Plants growing outside, plants in the forest, plants in the garden, plants that people keep inside. There are so many different kinds of plants that you can grow at home. Once you become a plant keeper, here's something to think about though. If you're going to leave for a trip and you're gone for a few weeks, you'll need someone to take care of your plants. You'll need a babysitter for your plants. You'll need a plant sitter. Now that's a strange word you don't hear every day. A plant sitter? Why would you need someone to take care of your plants if you're going to be gone?
All right, let's open that letter from Doug. Why would you need a plant sitter to take care of your plants while you're gone? You guys went on vacation. Why would you need a plant sitter to take care of your plants while you're gone? You could pause the video and you can turn and talk with somebody, or you could just think all on your own and then press play when you're ready again. All right. So hold on to those ideas you guys have in your head, okay? It says, watch this sped up video to see what happens when a plant doesn't get enough water. So sped up, it's in fast mode. We're watching this plant over probably a couple hours or a couple of days that this is happening. Does anybody know what's happening to the plant? Oh boy, pretend to be a thirsty plant. Stand up and act like a plant. Act like the plant. All right, guys, so you could stand up and you could start to wilt just like the plant is. You're very sad and you're very thirsty. All right, after you play around with that little movement break, you can play the video and keep going.
Plants, things like trees and flowers and grass, anything that has leaves, they're all living things. Now, I know plants don't look like you or me, and they don't look like animals. They're not animals, but they are alive. And so they need to drink water, just like you, me, and animals do. Now, plants don't have mouths, but you might know that they soak up the water in their roots, like when it rains. So if you're a plant keeper and you're gone for more than a few days, the reason you need a plant sitter is for them to come and water your plants. Otherwise, the plants will go thirsty and they'll die. Is there anything else a plant needs besides just water? Well, I want to tell you a story about a tree. There was this big old tree growing in a field of grass. Like any tree, it cast a big shadow on the ground. On a bright sunny day, if you sat near the base of the tree, it would look dark where you were sitting. The tree blocked the sunlight above. Now, one day, a powerful storm passed by. The wind was gusting. The branches on the tree were swaying back and forth very wildly. As the wind blew stronger and stronger, the old tree got knocked over. Now it looked like this. It's sad that such a huge tree got knocked over, but something new happened. Next to the big tree, a little tree had been growing. Year after year, it never got very big. But once the big tree got knocked over, suddenly in just a few months, that little tree grew bigger and bigger and bigger than it had ever grown before. Within just a few years, it got so big that it started to take the place of the old tree that had fallen over. Everywhere we look in forests, we can find baby versions of big trees. When the big trees get old and fall over or get knocked over in a storm, the little trees around them start to grow big. Now, why do you think that is? Why do you think that little trees start to grow when the big trees get old and fall over?
This is a really fascinating idea. It says, discuss. Why do you think the little tree started to grow when the big tree fell over? And then there's a hint. It says, what has changed? I love this part of this lesson. You look at the first video, before the big tree fell over, the little tree is just a tiny little guy for a long, long time. And then if you look over here, after the storm, the big tree fell over, the little tree was able to grow. What's different in these photos? What has changed? If you want to keep thinking, you can pause the video. If you're ready, then you can play. It says, hint, look at the ground before and after the big tree fell over. Look at these yellow dotted outlines that Doug made for us. He's outlining a shadow. And then over here, there's no shadow. So what does that mean? What do you guys think that means? It means that this little tree was not getting any sunlight, right? There's no shadow over here. So there's plenty of sunlight for the little tree to grow. It says, here's what we noticed. The little tree used to be in the big tree's shadow. Now it is in sunlight. Can you think of a way to figure out if the sunlight helped the small tree grow? What do you guys think? Did it? Yes, of course it did.
In today's activity, you're going to do an experiment to learn about what plants need to grow. You'll do it by growing plant seeds in a paper cup. You won't be growing a tree because trees take a long time to grow. Instead, you'll grow seeds from a different plant. They look like this. Do you know what these seeds will grow up to become? Each of these little seeds grow up to become radish plants. A radish is a plant that grows like a carrot. The part you eat grows underground. Today, your job is to find out whether a plant can grow without sunlight. What do you think will happen? I'll walk you through how to get started, step by step. Before we get started, discuss this question. When you're done with this step, click the arrow on the right.
So there's a few questions here, and you could talk about these with your grown-up, or if you have anybody else around, you could make some predictions, and then we're going to keep going. The questions are, how could you use radish seeds to find out whether plants can grow without sunlight? And do you have any ideas? So you could pause the video and you could talk about these questions, or you can keep going with Miss Millerick.
Here's our idea. We can make 2 cups of seeds and put 1 cup next to a sunny window so that it gets lots of light, and put the other cup in the dark, like wrapped up in aluminum foil so that no light can get in. Then, after a few days, we can look at them side by side and see what happens. Let's try that out. Go to the next step and we'll get started.
All right, so I'm going to stop sharing the screen of the mystery with you guys, because you're just going to follow the directions with me. I'm going to do the activity. You guys can follow along. If you have the materials at home, you could, of course, do it too. But I'm going to let you guys follow along with me. All right? All right. All right, guys, so we're going to get started with the investigation part. Okay, I'm going to tell you about all the materials that I have and then the steps that we're going to take. So I have 2 pots with dirt in them. I have the radish seeds in this little white cup. I have a spray bottle with water in it. And then I have a piece of aluminum foil as well. All right, and I already labeled the pots just so we know which one is which. The one with the yellow sticker is the one that's going to go in the sunlight. We're gonna give this one plenty of sunlight, okay? And then the one with the pink sticker is not gonna get any sunlight at all, and we'll see what happens, okay? Before we get started with planting, I want you guys to be able to observe the radish seeds that I'm using, because they might look a little bit different than the one on Doug's video. So you're going to be able to see a picture in a moment of these radish seeds, and I want you to look at them really closely. All right, now that you got a chance to look at the radish seeds, we're gonna plant them. So I have a couple here. I have about 8. I don't think I'm gonna use all of them, but I'm gonna put the same amount in each pot. So I'm gonna put 1, 2, 3 in the sunlight one, push them down a little bit. And then I'm gonna put 1, 2, 3 in the no sunlight one. I'm gonna push those guys down just a teeny bit underneath the dirt as well. And then of course we know that dirt is one plant need. Another is water. So we're gonna spray them down, make them nice and moist. Make that soil nice and moist. And I'll water them every day until the next video comes out too. That way they're getting plenty of water. Okay, we planted them. Is that it? Is that all Miss Millerick has to do? No, I have to go put this one in a sunny spot, and I have to cover this one with the aluminum foil, because that way it won't get any sunlight, right? So next week, I will show you what has happened to them. All right? Thanks for joining me, guys.